get another DJs BrewTube beer review. You see the Flying Dog beer in front of you. You see the Flying Dog Maryland Pride shirt on, so you know what time it is. It's time for DJ to go local. That's right, it's time to review some local ass craft beer. And I'm even going more local than ever. Yeah, I'm reviewing Flying Dog beer out of Frederick, Maryland, US of A. Yay, you know the whole deal. But this is probably the most Maryland-centric or Maryland-themed beer that I've ever reviewed. And what beer is that? It's Dead Rise Old Bay Summer Ale. Now you're saying, what the hell is Old Bay? Well, this is Old Bay. Old Bay is seafood, or specifically blue crab seasoning. Now, if you've ever been to Maryland, or you know people from Maryland, or you are from our lovely People's Republic of Maryland, you know that this is put on like all seafood. Definitely crab, shrimp, fish, you name it. I even put this stuff on popcorn. All of us around here eat the hell out of this stuff, and this is basically the granddaddy of all crab seasonings. And to celebrate the 75th anniversary of said crab seasoning, they did a collab beer with McCormick, who is the owner of Old Bay. It used to be Old Bay Company, but McCormick Seasoning owns it, and McCormick Spice. And they're celebrating the 75th anniversary, and also a percentage of the proceeds from this beer are going to go to Maryland watermen to help support them and their livelihood. Because if you don't know the history of Maryland, Maryland's a very bay-centric, ocean-centric, and like seafaring kind of state. Seafood, life on the water is really a big part of Maryland. So, because the Chesapeake Bay kind of really dominates a real big chunk of the state map-wise. Anyways, enough history lesson. What about this beer? For malt, it's kind of a cool recipe. They're using acidulated rye and white wheat. So it's kind of a, they're putting that acidulated in there. Sometimes that'll balance out pH and water. But they also do it sometimes to put a bit of a bite into the beer, like a sourness almost, like lemon would do. Rye is definitely going to give a spice, and white wheat is sort of that neutral playing ground, right? So, after that, for hops, they're using, let's see, Northern Brewer, CTZ, and Cascade. So, and as, you can guess or surmise by the bottle label, you know what? You're using Old Bay seasoning as the adjunct. So, this is a 5.6% ABV and 25 IBU brew. It's meant to be a seasonal that's available May through September. This beer came out 4 days ago at time of my reviewing, so it's as fresh as you're going to get it. So, the yeast in this is German ale yeast. So this is going to have a pretty cool twist to it. I've talked to some friends who have already drank this on tap. They loved it, but you know what? It's a Maryland point of view kind of beer. So, let's get a top popped on it and tell you what's up. I guess technically this is an herb and spice beer. Flying Dog Crown. Also Flying Dog Glass. This is an herb and spice beer, maybe like a chili beer almost in some ways, because there's a lot of pepper and chilies and things of that sort in Old Bay itself. So, alright, now, you see, one thing that's important to know about, Flying Dog, they're really big about, supporting local things in Maryland, and I like this. This is one of my favorite swag stickers I have, support local creativity. And that's really what Flying Dog's about in a lot of ways, I've noticed. So, let's get an appearance on this. We've got a hazy yellow color, almost a Pilsner looking color, but a little bit darker, amber than that. We got a solid 1 finger of super tight white bubbles. When I swirl it, getting some clean glass lacing clawing to the side of the glass, and maybe even a little bit of alcohol legs, really faint in the background, but not too much, or really not too much expected. So, let's get an aroma on this and see what's up in that department. Okay, now to me, this aroma smells familiar. This aroma smells like when you're eating crabs, okay, at a crab, sort of all-you-can-eat crab place. They put down bushels of crabs in front of you, and you lay down brown paper that you put the crabs on top of. As the juice comes out of the crabs after they've been steamed, because they steam them in beer, okay, usually a Pilsner beer. Probably around here they're using some Natty Boh, but it is good for that. Natty Boh is good for that. Anyways, then they put the crab seasoning in, and this smells like that paper that's been, that like fibrous smell from the paper that's been soaked with crab, seasoning and beer. The Old Bay is very present there. As I sit here and talk, the second whiff, I got more of the Old Bay. It's got a briny sort of, Old Bay has its own aroma to itself. You can smell the red pepper. They have it in black pepper. You can smell the salt in there and the other herbs that are in Old Bay. But it's a really unique smelling beer. It smells, like I said, like that when you're eating crabs and there's beer around, and the liquid that comes off the crab after they've been steamed in beer and Old Bay, That's really what this smells most like to me. It's going to be hard if you guys haven't eaten crabs in Maryland to get that perspective maybe, or a place that does Maryland style crabs, but that's what I'm smelling all day. Now, I'm going to sit this here before I get into the taste, and I'm going to get a little whiff of the Old Bay itself and compare it. Yep, it's got a lot of the Old Bay notes in there. It is subdued because there's sweetness in there from the wheat malt. And you can smell some like floral grassy hop in there way in the background. But yeah, alright, so time to dive into this and see what the taste is all about. Cheers. You hear me laughing? That's because this beer tastes like I've just eaten steamed crabs and I'm washing it down with like a blonde ale of some sort, or a pilsner. That's what this beer tastes like. It's pretty dead on. This is a super chuggable beer. There's a brininess in there and a saltiness, and it's a really cool experience. It's almost like an oyster stout brininess in there, and that's coming from the Old Bay, which the seasoning has salt in it. But wow, that's what it tastes like to me. When I eat crabs, I crack them open, I pull out that back fin or claw meat, and I dunk it, I dredge it in the extra spice and Old Bay that's left on the top of the shell, and that's what this experience is. I've just gotten a whole bunch of those crabs and that crab seasoning in my mouth, and bang, I hit this beer back, and it's like that combination in your mouth, and that's pretty freaking cool. If you're not from Maryland, you may not recognize how that's cool, or you're not a steamed blue crab eater. Because folks down in Louisiana, I'm sure they're using some Old Bay or some kind of crab seasoning, and you guys probably know what I'm talking about too. Louisiana, Florida, that kind of thing. So I've got a little bit of a food pairing here. You see I've got some chips. Now, these aren't just any chips. These are Utz, who's out of Pennsylvania. Crab chips. Well, yeah, the crab chip. But these are potato chips seasoned with Chesapeake Bay style crab seasoning, which is basically Old Bay, and I'm sure they've tried to copy Old Bay as much as possible. When you smell them, they smell just like Old Bay. So let's get a taste of this and pair them together, because it'd be like eating seafood or whatever, crabs. Excuse my hogging these down. Okay. Let's see what they taste like together. Damn. It's just like eating crabs. And washing it down with a beer, like I said. Spot on. For what it is and what it says, it's a really cool beer. It's a dead-on ringer, and it's as advertised on the bottle. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And it is what it says it is. It's beer that has Old Bay flavoring in the background, and I think it's quite well done. So, what do you grade, a beer like this? Great beer, gives it a 62. What a surprise, it's below 10% ABV, and it's a little bit off-kilter, and you have to think about grading it. Great beer, you know what I say to you guys. Beer Advocates give it an 85. I can see that. That's a fair grade by people grading it, that no crabs and no, Old Bay, and the experience of eating steamed crabs and drinking a beer at the same time with it. I can see that grade. I think for what it is, I'm going to give it a B+. I'm going to give it an 88. It's a really solid beer. I'd buy it again. I'd drink it again. It's not a blow-you-away beer, with, huge flavors, but it is a really cool, well-done herbs and spice beer, and you guys know, because of your experience with pumpkin beers and other brews like that, herb and spice beers can be destroyed a lot of times, and this one was well done. Bravo, Flying Dog. This was not an easy beer to make and pull off and have taste as good as it does. So, to the next DJs BrewTube, we got to talk about something really important. We got to talk about thinking globally, and we got to talk about drinking what? Locally! That's right, and supporting your local craft brewers. So guys like Flying Dog here in Maryland will come out with more craft seasoning flavored beers to make us smile and have fun while we're drinking it. Because that's what all this is all about, keeping that variety going and having fun with it. So, to the next DJs BrewTube, thanks a million to each and every one of you for watching. Remember, rate, comment, subscribe, and hit that like button. Until then, I got nothing but a bunch of local drinking ass love for you, and a big old peace out!